A yeasty breakfast treat, a certain caffeinated beverage, and a cattle ranch classic. The pioneer woman can whip up just about any dish, but only certain foods regularly make it to her dinner table. Ree Drummond may be a huge television celebrity, but one of the reasons why her fans love her so much is that her culinary tastes are simple and relatable. Case in point, Drummond has gone on the record saying that her absolute favorite food is cheese. She eats cheese every single day and even has more than 800 recipes on her blog that contain the word cheese in the title. As for how she gets her daily allotment of cheese, she's not picky. Drummond has explained that she loves macaroni and cheese. She craved cheesy quesadillas when she was pregnant with all her children. She adds goat cheese and feta cheese to salads. She loves the way Swiss cheese melts, and she'll snack on cubes of white cheddar straight up. If you're a cheese lover like Drummond, you'll probably enjoy recipes on the Pioneer Woman website like fried goat cheese with marinara, cheese straws, and fancy mac and cheese.
The only reason I grew as a child because I ate macaroni and cheese.
If these cheesy recipes can quell Drummond's daily craving, they should be good enough for you too. There's comfort food, there's meatballs, and then there's the Pioneer Woman's comfort meatballs. Ree Drummond has said she's loved them since she first sunk her teeth into them years ago, which is as ringing an endorsement as they come. Drummond's meatballs are seasoned simply, with just salt, black pepper, and onion, adding flavor to a mixture of ground beef that's held together with oats and milk. Then they're browned on the stovetop and baked in a homemade barbecue sauce that's equal parts sweet and tangy. These aren't the only meatballs in Drummond's life. She also has a recipe for spaghetti and meatballs on her website. They're more classically Italian, made with ground beef, ground pork, fresh herbs, and some cheese for extra flavor. Though Drummond says she almost can't tell if she likes making or eating spaghetti and meatballs more, at the end of the day she says that never eating spaghetti and meatballs again in my life would be pretty devastating. While Oklahoma is landlocked, that doesn't stop Ree Drummond from saying that sushi is still on her list of favorite foods. It helps to know that Drummond hasn't always lived on the ranch in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. She went to college in Southern California, and now that she's a big star, she travels quite a bit too. As such, she's been exposed to food from all over the country and the world. Luckily, just because Drummond lives in the middle of the country doesn't mean that she can't get her sushi fix. Her husband had a sushi chef come out to the ranch one year for her birthday to teach her how to make perfect sushi at home. She says that other than a pug, it's the one thing he figured she'd want. Needless to say, at the end of a long, tiring day on the ranch, everyone in the Drummond family is famished. And for them, nothing hits the spot quite like meat and potatoes. Ree Drummond has said, "I cook the way I eat," meaning hearty comfort foods that contain meat and potatoes are often on the menu both on her show and at her home. The potato component of this duo might be Drummond's specialty, given that her potato recipes are famous. In fact, when she went up against Bobby Flay during a Thanksgiving-themed episode of Throwdown with Bobby Flay, she beat the famous chef thanks to her creamy mashed potato recipe. Drummond's secret ingredients make for mashed potatoes that are extra creamy and full of flavor. She mashes her spuds with cream cheese and Lawry's seasoned salt. As for meat, Drummond's recipes like Sunday night stew are rich, satisfying, and hearty enough to satisfy any carnivore. If Drummond had to name one of her recipes as better than all the rest, it would be her cinnamon rolls. About her mom's cinnamon roll recipe, she stated, "I can say that these cinnamon rolls are the best in the world." Drummond shares the recipe, of which she states on her website, "I've made these cinnamon rolls approximately 89,745 times in my life. Give or take 89,000. Though the recipe started out as something Drummond and her mom made to share with loved ones around Christmas, you can make them at any time of the year. The combination of soft and flaky dough, buttery cinnamon sugar filling, and pour-on maple icing make for a sweet treat that's just as good as dessert as it is a morning accompaniment to a hot cup of coffee." Ree Drummond isn't just a television star, cookbook author, and business owner. She's also a mom, and she's the one in charge of making food for her family most nights. So what does an international culinary celebrity feed her family on a regular basis? According to Drummond, one of her family's favorite meals is chicken parmesan. Drummond explains that it's not the best authentic Italian version, it's very Americanized. But regardless, the recipe still sounds plenty tasty to us. As promised, there isn't anything about the Pioneer Woman's chicken parmesan recipe that's overtly complicated. Chicken breasts are dredged in flour and fried until crispy. They are then added to a skillet of homemade tomato sauce and topped with cheese. The dish is cooked until the cheese is gooey and melted and the chicken is warmed through. Serve it over linguine and you've got a Drummond family favorite on your plate. If it's good enough for the Marlboro Man and the Pioneer Woman, surely it's good enough for us.
Chicken parm is chicky parm.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. In fact, the pioneer woman loves breakfast so much that she often makes breakfast for dinner for her family. And while you may envision her table loaded up with steak and eggs or her signature cinnamon rolls, her favorite breakfast food is actually migas. Migas is a Tex-Mex dish that's basically like all the best parts of a breakfast burrito turned into a breakfast scramble. But you can forget about the flour tortilla. According to Drummond, fried chopped corn tortillas are essential to the dish. She says that though some people will just serve migas with warmed or grilled tortillas, she likes it best when the tortillas are fried in oil until they get a bit crispy and are all chopped up and added to the eggs. The egg mixture softens them up a bit, but thanks to the fry, they still retain some texture. The result is a dish in which each mouthful contains a combination of creamy eggs, peppers and onions, melted cheese, and those satisfying fried corn tortillas. If you want to taste what makes migas so special, you can even order it from the menu at Drummond's restaurant, Mercantile. She loves the dish so much that she added it to the menu. Though Ree Drummond is usually the one behind the wheel when it comes to the kitchen, her husband Ladd has also made his culinary influence known. It was under his insistence that their restaurant began selling a family favorite, a flat strawberry rhubarb pie. Ladd worked closely with Mercantile's executive chef to put the pie on the menu. Unlike the traditional double crust pie, the flat strawberry rhubarb pie is made on a single round of dough, with the crust folded over the edge like a galette. The family likes the style of pie so much that they even served it at the Drummond family reunion hosted at Mercantile in 2017. The pioneer woman's husband comes from a family that's been ranching cattle since the late 1800s, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that one of the most requested foods in the Drummond household is steak. After all, when you raise cows for a living, beef is on the menu fairly often. In fact, the Drummonds are so devoted to steak that the very first recipe on Reed's blog was titled How to Cook a Steak. Yep, it's that foundational to the pioneer woman's empire. For the best steak, Drummond recommends choosing well-marbled, boneless ribeyes. She sears the steaks on an oiled cast iron skillet and seasons them with Lawry seasoned salt and McCormick lemon and pepper seasoning salt. Drummond, who likes her steak medium rare, tells her readers to remember that you can always add a rare steak back to the pan to cook a little bit longer. But once it's overcooked for good. Now that simply cooked ribeye sounds delicious, but the pioneer woman doesn't just stick to plain steaks. For example, another Drummond family favorite is the Marlboro Man Sandwich, which is made with pan-fried steak cube. You can find even more variations on the classic steak on the Pioneer Woman's website. When you're as busy as Ree Drummond, you need a little something every now and then to keep you going throughout the day. After all, with a packed filming schedule, lots of travel, and her family obligations, the Pioneer Woman's calendar is quite a bit hectic. Luckily, a reprieve for Drummond comes in a very tasty form: coffee.
Fortunately, I don't have to dream about coffee and scones. I can just make them myself at home.
Drummond has gone on the record saying that coffee is her life. As such, it's safe to say that she is very passionate about her daily brew. Drummond prefers her coffee iced, but she has plenty of other coffee recipes on her blog too, including dulce de leche and homemade frappuccinos. But the pioneer woman doesn't only deal with coffee at home. She also sells it at her restaurant Mercantile. In fact, she was so committed to making sure that the Merc sold quality coffee that she worked with Topeka Coffee Roasters in Tulsa, Oklahoma to come up with a custom-blended, custom-roasted coffee to serve guests. Drummond says that the real motivation for launching such a sophisticated espresso and coffee menu at the restaurant was that it would give her another opportunity to enjoy a daily cup of quality coffee. Chicken is certainly a staple in most households. It's mild, so even picky eaters like it, and it's versatile enough that even the most creative cooks can have fun with it. And what's one of the pioneer woman's favorite ways to enjoy this pleasing poultry? Barbecued, of course. A good barbecue sauce can turn chicken from something that may be a little bland and boring to a complete showstopper. Drummond loves barbecue chicken so much that she has several different variations of the recipe on her blog, from classic baked barbecue chicken with homemade sauce to versions made with peach preserves. Barbecue chicken as a dish reminds us of what makes Drummond's style of cooking resonate so much with her fans. She takes a staple like chicken and turns it into a familiar dish, like barbecue chicken, but she always adds a twist that sets it apart from the run-of-the-mill fare a lot of families have gotten used to. Her recipes are accessible yet adventurous in a way that most people can pull off, even if they don't own an expensive oven or have access to a Whole Foods. The pioneer woman is on the record saying that she loves all kinds of foods, but if you pay close attention to interviews or even take a quick scan of the recipes on her website, you may notice one ingredient she doesn't give much love to: bananas. Drummond has said in interviews, "I don't like bananas. I like to drive that point home."
You all need to eat your banana immediately!
What the hell for?
Eat the banana! We have to put you down!
Yeah!
She's not alone. Apparently, her dad and one of her brothers also loathe bananas, leading her to wonder if it's a genetic preference. Drummond says that she's hated them since she was a kid, and that she's never eaten a whole banana in her life. That being said, she does have a certain delicious-sounding banana recipe on her website, banana bread. The banana bread is her mother's recipe, which Drummond did once eat after coming off of the diet. But apparently she was just in a carb frenzy and hasn't enjoyed bananas before or since.